Two major events took place in this country today. There was an event in Bondo, and then there was another event at Statehouse. In Bondo, the Kikuyu Council of Elders officially endorsed Raila Odinga for the presidency in 2022. That event was graced by several governors. That event was graced by several governors, senators, members of parliament from across the country. But importantly, there was a significant number of members of parliament, MCS, religious leaders, and even tycoons from central Kenya or the larger Mount Kenya region. I saw Minor Commander. I saw Jeremiah Kioni. In fact, when I saw Kioni, I remembered Musalia Mudavadi. And then I also saw Peter Kenneth. The presence of Peter Kenneth to that event is significant, politically speaking, because we all know that the politics of central Kenya today is revolving around two key personalities: President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Samoei Ruto. And around President Uhuru Kenyatta, two camps are emerging. There's the camp which is allied to Peter Kenneth, and also there's another camp which is allied to Mutahi Kagwe. So I want to assume that either Peter Kenneth just decided to attend that event, or those who attended that event are actually his supporters. Remember, central Kenya cannot be ignored in this country. When we go to the votes in 2022, central Kenya will have to sit on the table to demand for either the deputy presidency, to demand for prime minister, or if the constitution will not be changed, central Kenya will never be ignored in this country because of their numbers. So the presence of Peter Kenneth there was significant, and I'm going to discuss or to dissect the details about that particular meeting in Bondo later on. But now I want us to look at the event which took place at Statehouse. And just like I keep on saying on this platform, that in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. Everything in politics is normally well planned, well scripted, and executed to achieve specific political objectives. Anybody who followed that event will agree with me that the organizers of that particular event had a script, and they stuck to that script. They followed that script as per the plan. And that's why the deputy president was not allowed to speak. And it was designed like that the deputy president was not going to speak. And indeed, even the president, when he was given the chance to speak, he never mentioned the name of his deputy, William Samoei Ruto. So I want us to go into the details why probably President Uhuru Kenyatta snubbed his deputy, because I strongly believe that it was not by coincidence that the deputy president was not allowed to speak. Now, if you followed that event, I observed four things. Number one was the sitting arrangement. If you've been following the politics of President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy since they came to power, their sitting arrangement has always been very consistent. You have the president, you have the deputy president on one side, then the first lady, and also the second lady. That has been the trend all along. During this event, President Uhuru Kenyatta was seated there. Then to his left was the first lady. And then after the first lady, there was the deputy president. Then to the right of President Uhuru Kenyatta, there was somebody there. That's significant because it's the first time you're witnessing that. And it can only explain the distance between these two gentlemen. I can assure you that in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. But I'm going to explain probably why that had to happen. Now let us go to the program of the day. We all remember that this was a national prayer service for the country at Statehouse. So it was actually a national event. Let us look at the program, because the program was also there. I'm just trying to look for that particular program. Now, according to the program, I just want to share with you a bit of it. The program is saying 12:23 p.m. there was going to be a hymn by Minima Nema Zako. Then at 12:26, we are going to have blessings and covenant prayer for our nation, led by Archbishop Timothy Ndambuki, and then benedictions. Then at 12:30, we are going to have vote of thanks by Archbishop Anthony Muheria. And then later, after that, His Excellency, the President Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, was to make his address. So that was according to the program. In an ideal situation, the deputy president ought to have been the one inviting the president, and even the bishop himself acknowledged this.
Your desires have been met. It is really a kind request, because we are in your house. We cannot leave without you saying a word to encourage us. So please, with all due reverence and respect, maybe not following the right protocols, but kindly, Your Excellency, say a word to us.
So don't pretend that these things were not designed like that. That's how politics is played. So the organizers decided to leave out the deputy president William Ruto. Of course, if it was if it were in the past, what would have happened was that the bishop would have invited the deputy president to invite the president. And even if these guys were not supposed to speak, because the president even alluded to that they had agreed that he was not going to speak. Even if the president was not going to speak, the guy who ought to have invited him was actually the deputy president, William Samoei Ruto. And again, even if you followed the entire event, when the deputy president arrived there, he arrived alone, a lonely figure. I'm yet to see a photo of Team Tanga members at Statehouse today. Probably they were never invited to that event. But that's a story for another day. Now let us go to the third thing which I observed. The president's speech. Let me just play for you a bit of the president's speech.
I think the second thing I would like to do is to thank all our religious leaders from the various religious organizations in Kenya, from our churches to the mosques to the temples, who have set aside this day and have come to lead not just this congregation, but the entire nation in prayer today. Asanteni sana, tumewashukuru sana. Thank you. Thank you very much. We deeply, deeply appreciate the role that you have played. I think it would also be wrong for me if I also didn't take this opportunity to thank all our health workers, all our essential service providers who have gone above and beyond the call of duty during this most difficult time. And I think on behalf of a grateful nation, tunasema asanteni sana. I would also be wrong if I did not also thank my fellow leaders, all those of us who have been in cabinet together, all our county governments, including all our leaders in various political parties. If it was not for the unity of purpose that you have shown during this time, we would not have been able to come so far. Asanteni sana. Thank you very much to each and every one of you. Tunasema asante.
In that speech, the president is very clear that it would be unfair for him not to acknowledge the health workers. And in my view, that one was the best thing from the president. And I clap for him. But he also mentioned the cabinet. The president did not mention his deputy. This is a guy he was with on the same ticket in 2017. So even the president's speech itself, he snubbed William Samoei Ruto. The fourth thing, number 4, is the absence of Raila Amolo Odinga. We all know that Raila Odinga had visitors in Bondo. Probably that can explain his absence. But let me just play a bit of politics. I want to assume that in an ordinary circumstance, and the Raila Odinga I know would have been at Statehouse. From Statehouse, Nairobi to Bondo, very short time. So probably they would have pushed the event in Bondo to delay a bit. Because even by the time the event in Bondo was proceeding, the one in Statehouse was also proceeding. So I want to assume that the absence of Raila Amolo Odinga was also designed to be like that. Because if Raila Odinga would have been there, probably he would have been mentioned by name. If you listened to the president, he mentioned party leaders, but he avoided mentioning the names. I am convinced that Raila Odinga's absence was actually part of this script, so that he's out. The fact that he's out there, even the sitting arrangement for the deputy president cannot be explained. You can't explain why the deputy president was not allowed to, because I was reading online. People were saying, like, if Raila was there, probably the president would have mentioned him by name, or if Raila was there, probably would have been given a chance to speak, things like those. So I'm convinced, beyond any reasonable doubt, because I was asking myself why Raila Odinga was not attending this particular event. Of course, I knew that he was not going to attend, because yesterday I was privileged to be with one of his people, like Junet. So I knew he was not going to, because I asked him basically, how is Jacom going to go to Statehouse and then later on attend the event at in Bondo? He told me Jacom was going to go to Bondo. He's not going to go to Statehouse. But I'm convinced, beyond any reasonable doubt, that the absence was designed. Don't get me wrong. That's how politics is played the world over. But why do you think President Uhuru Kenyatta snubbed his deputy? I only have 2 reasons. Number 1, we all remember that there was a national event in this country just last week. The new deputy president, William Ruto, in his own wisdom, decided to boycott that event. His name was in the program. He was supposed to speak. But because of politics and around COVID, he decided not to attend that event. In fact, even he did not even apologize, even notify these guys that I was not going to come to attend the event. So I'm sure the organizers feared either that this guy might be invited, but again failed to turn up. So it would have been an embarrassment if the name of the deputy president was printed on that program, and then he fails to turn up. Number 2, I think also the fallout between President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy in Jubilee Party also played out. I saw the former First Lady, Mama Ngina, walking to Statehouse. And I imagined seeing Oscar Sudi accompanying the deputy president to that event. Nobody would have allowed that to happen. So probably because of the fallout, the bitter fallout, the president didn't see any need to provide his deputy with a platform. So that's my take on the event at Statehouse. I might be wrong, I might be right, but that's my take. And if you're watching this video for the first time, please, I want you to take a second or 2 and click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. Thank you guys, and please, may you have a good day. Bye-bye.